I'm Annie and I'm from a project called We Be Kids. We provide lots of free activities for you to do together to boost your family well-being. And we're working in partnership with Woodlands to bring you a few videos, and today we are going to be teaching you how to do bramble cordage. So the beautiful bramble has indeed both beautiful blossoms and beautiful berries later on in the year. It is also a really strong material to make cordage with. The best time of year to collect this is in the late spring, early summertime, so early June is perfect. So here we have an example of some fresh growth on a bramble, and we have a thinner tip and it runs itself down to a thicker stem. As you can see, the bramble does have lots of spiky spines, so don't be afraid of wearing those gloves to ensure your hands are protected. Leather are the best. And you can take your secateurs, and if you cut it as far back as you can to give yourself a nice length of bramble. First of all, we have our length, and you'll notice that we have our branches coming off here at opposite sides. In order to do this, I am wearing some very thick gloves in order to protect my hands, because as you can see, the spines on our freshly grown bramble are quite long. So you're just going to push against the direction of the leaves and just strip along the bramble to remove the foliage. Often this will also remove a lot of the spines, as you can see there. And if you run your hand again in the opposite direction, so you do both ways, this can help just remove any of those remaining spines, just turning your stem as you go. And then you can see you have your mostly spineless now bramble. We are actually interested in a very thin layer with which to make our cordage. Now the inside, the big white area that you can see, is actually called the pith. And on the outside here we can see something which is the outer skin, the outer layer. And what we are interested is the fibres that lie between these two. So we are going to remove that outer layer first. As you can see, this is now perfectly okay to handle with your hands, so you can remove your gloves. I've also picked up on the way a stone that seems to have a relatively straight edge. Now, if you don't have that or this type of stone around you, you can always use the back of a blunt knife. You're then going to use this just to gently scrape off the outer layer. Now you don't need much pressure, genuinely you do this very gently and you just move it around. And as you can see, that outer layer is starting to come away. So next, once we have stripped down our outer layer of our bramble stems, we need to soften them, and we're going to try and break off the fibres that we are wanting away from that pithy inner. The idea is that you don't want to be bashing it too hard. Now you want to be turning your bramble because you want to be loosening them all the way around as you work your way up. Next, you're going to break the fibres in between your hands just to ensure that there's no stiff areas left for those fibres to be stuck to. And if needed, you can always go back and bash a little more. Once you've prepared a few, you'll start to see that this inner layer next to the pith actually starts to come away from the main stem, and it will just peel off along the entire length of your bramble. And this is what you're going to be making the cordage from. It is of course ideal to have your fibres as long as you can get them, and the thicker they are, the thicker your cordage will be, although you can also separate it, and the thinner the cordage you may make. And both have really good purposes thicker will make very good rope or string. Perhaps that's more suitable for your garden. And the thinner is wonderful for making jewelry and just tying things up. So you're going to take strands of your fibres that you've peeled off your bramble, and you're just going to dampen them with some water. I showed you at the start here. It's going to dampen it to make sure that it is pliable for working with. We're then going to fold it in two. We're going to have one piece that is longer and one that is shorter, so it's not a perfect fold in half. One is longer and one is shorter. You're then going to take the center piece and then you are going to twist until it starts to twist itself there, so you can see that happening. And to hold on to that end, so you've got your two strands. You're then going to take the piece that's on top, you're going to twist that away from you and pull it towards you and hold. Take the piece that's further away, keep wetting it as it's required, twisting your strands, crossing it over, twisting your strands, crossing it over. Strand furthest away from you, which is on the top, twisting in a direction away from your body. Pulling it over the top of the other and then moving your thumb down. Piece underneath, twisting in the direction away from you, lifting it over the top, closer to you, and moving down. And after a while, this process becomes really quite a quick and simple thing that you will then be doing, and you will realize you have learnt the process. When you come to the very end and you've completed, you can either just twist all of those ends together, as I've done here, or if you want to, you could choose to knot them and then simply leave this cord to dry for a while. I'm going to use mine for, I think, for a wonderful nature necklace, but you can find many different uses for this wonderful strong bramble cordage. So I hope you've really enjoyed learning how to make natural cordage from bramble, and I hope that we see you again sometime soon.